Good evening and welcome to the Team Idris channel. I've just had this in the lathe. It's what I call a knock-knock pump or a tick-tick pump. There's a ring around here. I've just spun it off on the lathe. This is the electromagnet that operates it. Various seals and bits and bobs. So you see down the inside there, you can't really see it, but there's an O-ring down there, and that's where our brass cylinder goes in. And then some O-ring fitting sits on the end here, like that. And there's a steel torque ring that seems to do the sealing. And that seals against this end, against that part there, which is a one-way valve. So we've got diesel coming in here, a one-way valve, non-return valve, another non-return valve here in the end of the piston. And the piston drops down there with a spring. The coil that pulls it backwards and forwards drops in after it, and then the inlet port on the end. So it's nicely cut out for the electrics, sealed electrics. I don't think diesel would come up the wires. I guess it's possible. Right, O-ring that goes on the top. So yeah, it's all pretty quick to build for them. Impossible to repair. This one's dead as a doornail. So this one doesn't have any sort of return mechanism, and all this part is dry. So you can imagine you could do almost anything to this and it would stay absolutely clean, trapped in there, separate from the outside and from the diesel. So we got a transistor there, a diode. That could be when the magnetic field collapses, it doesn't blow the transistor. Got a resistor there, and then if we got capacitor in there, that could be another diode. Yeah, it looks suspiciously like the input diode. So we've got a capacitor there. It's a simple timing circuit, and it just goes tick, 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 tick. Every time it goes tick, it pulls this piston. Put that back inside there. That piston is drawn inside up against the spring. Now on early ones, SU and things like that, there was a switch at the end. So when the piston gets to the end of its travel, so it starts off back here, the magnet energizes, pulls this back. This is pushing on the fuel, which is coming out here, and when it steadily leaks off, and when it gets to the end, it throws a switch, and the magnet comes on again and pulls it back. With these, they just seem to just constantly go backwards and forwards, tick, 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 tick. When there's like a fuel restriction, it will just stay back all the while. So yeah, that's what's inside a tick-tick pump if I sort of line it up. So there's the output, there's the electronics and the coil. This you would call in a drill a torque ring. It's just way better at amplifying the magnetic field through this brass tube. Piston goes in there, spring goes up the inside, a rubber seal, final output rubber seal, and then the input housing with the inlet valve. So yeah, they're not mega complicated, but it's nice to get one apart and have a look in. And they are extremely reliable if they're working. I don't suppose there's anything more wrong with this than maybe a bad capacitor or a bad transistor, but how do you stick it back together? I mean, you just can't. I've cut the folded over bit away, so yeah, it's done. But yeah, just scrap unfortunately, but interesting to see inside one. Anyway, the tick-tick pump. Thanks for watching.